So there's one kind of lens that I almost always say no to when I get the email saying, "Hey, do you want to try our lens?" And that's APS-C lenses, only because I like to buy full frame lenses and use them on my APS-C. This way I can use them on both cameras. But when Viltrox reached out with the APS-C, their 15 millimeter, it's a new one, 15 millimeter, it's the Air series. And I love the Air so much in the 50 for the Sony, which is a full frame. I thought, yeah, that would be nice for my Sony, the 6600, because I don't have very many lenses for this at all. I use my regular lenses, but I don't have any, very many small lenses other than the Air 50 millimeter, which is a full frame. That all makes sense. But like I said, this is their 15 millimeter 1.7 Air. So I was excited to try it because that 50 Air was so good, like really amazingly good. Now, this is the Sony a6600. I'm going to take a pause here while I open this box. I don't do unboxings because of this embarrassment that I'm going through now, just trying to get tape off of. Well, it's extremely lightweight and small. And 15 millimeter should be amazing, for a 22 millimeter on this little camera. I love these cameras, by the way. I just don't like the color science on them. This is a camera that you have to work with the color in post. But everything else about it I like. I think it's a nice little camera. So anyway, it's a beautiful lens, and I'm really impressed with the quality of it so far. I, I I'm going to take it out and shoot some of the building and see how this thing does, because I would use this for real estate or landscape or something like that. I would use it for people too at a 22, but today I just want to show you what it can do, and how the images look, and see how it autofocuses and stuff. I mean, form factor and everything else is just amazing to me, and the price is ridiculous. I'm thrilled that companies are doing this and, offering this kind of stuff, prices that are just amazing. But anyway, let's go take a walk around the building and see how it does. Okay, so I did a quick walk around the building with this lens, just shooting random crap. I wanted to see how it did. I didn't pay attention to focus. Honestly, once in a while I touched the screen to make sure I was on the object, but I didn't look because I just wanted to see how this did blindly without worrying about autofocus. That's probably the best test you can do. See how many of these photos are actually in focus and or out of focus. I shot at 1.7 most of the time, but I did stop down to 3.5 a couple times. But let's take a look at the images and see how this thing did. Hopefully it did well, because I really like this little form factor. And, to have this for, this kind of stuff, I think would be great. Actually, I'm going to switch this over now. Let me switch this over, and I'll actually film myself here doing with this lens to see how it is. So I'm going to shut this camera off and put this one on. Okay, well, I didn't set anything up. I just turned it on. I think I'm on auto white balance, and I set my ISO to 200, and I'm stopped down to f2.5, I think. I don't know. It looks bad on the screen, the color kind of thing. I don't know. So I'm just going to walk around the building really quick. I'll shoot some overalls and then some close-ups, just different scenarios so you can see what the lens can do. Yeah, I will zoom in on some of these. I know it's important to a lot of people. For me, I zoomed in once. I saw the sharpness. I was happy. I was done. What else can you say about it? But, doing the close-up photos, I think at its closest focusing distance, it does get a little questionable, but really not bad enough for me to say, oh, I don't want this lens. And I don't shoot close up that often. I don't go with to the closest focus distance that often, which I really don't know what it is, but I'm sure you guys can figure that out. Anyway, I'm going to actually give you some specs on the lens, because I never do this. And I thought, hey, I'll do it this time. So 9 aperture blades, viewing angles 84.9 degrees, of focusing distance is 0.23 meters. Let's see here, weight 180 grams. Lens elements is 12 and 10 groups, 3 ED, 3 HR, and 2 aspherical. That's pretty impressive for inexpensive lens like this. Aperture 1.7, you know that. Magnification's 0.1, not thrilling. 58 millimeter filter size. Okay, they're the specs. That's all I have for you. I don't pay attention to these because I don't care. The only thing that matters to me is when I put it on the camera, I take photos and I look at them. Do I like them or not? That's all that matters to me. Other than that, I just don't care. But I can understand that a lot of people do. So I'm going to do overalls like this. Now you can see in these overall images that the corners go a little bit dark. And there is a little bit of curvature here because there is no correction in Lightroom yet, and I didn't turn it on because I just wanted to see everything. Like I said, these are straight out of camera, so I just wanted to let you see what this lens is doing straight out of camera. Nothing is too bad for me to say don't buy this lens. And for me, when I'm using the 6600, I'd be thrilled to use it. The question always comes, like, for these third-party lenses, especially the Air series, because they are so inexpensive. Oh, well, it's not a professional lens. Pros can't use it. Guess what? If you use this lens and you get paid for your images, it becomes a pro lens instantly. It really doesn't matter if it's a pro lens or not. If you're using it for pro work and you're getting paid, it obviously is a pro lens. It's just that simple. So what I'm trying to say is don't like get hung up on the fact that these are inexpensive lenses or if this is all you can afford at the time. If you get great images out of this, who cares? Again, no one's going to look at your images on your Instagram feed or the prints that you make for, potential clients or anything like that and say, yeah, this is great, but what lens did you use? Nobody cares, honestly. I'm going to use this lens. Now, if this wasn't sent to me, I probably would have purchased it because I wanted a small wide lens for my 6600. That's not that zoom lens that I have. I don't even know what that is. I think it's a 28 to 135, but it's a variable aperture and I just don't like it. And when I put the 50 Air on that one, which is the full frame Air, I loved it. So when they reached out with the 15, I'm like, oh God, that's perfect. Those two little lenses, I'd be set with that little tiny camera, just for a walk around camera when I don't want to take the big stuff. And I do that a lot. I mean, I love that 6600 for that. I was thinking about, and I'm still thinking about upgrading to the 6700. Um, but I'm just holding off because this camera still works and it's still great. So like, why spend the money? That's another $1,300 I really don't have to spend. And, with these two Viltrox lenses, now the 15, 1.7 and that 50 Air, I have a great little setup. But anyway, getting back to the lens, I do love this. I think it's a great little lens for a lot of people. I wouldn't hesitate to buy it because of its inexpensive price tag. And, the corner vignetting isn't an issue for me because number one, I always crop to 4:3, so that takes some of it out. You can correct for it. And, I just don't care. The center is sharp and that's where I put everything. Oh, by the way, so this I shot at 2.8. So I wanted to zoom in on this and show you it's sharp as can be. It's fantastic. And then let me just slide over so you can see the background blur. I think it's nice. I don't think it's busy or anything like that. I don't care about background blur, but I know a lot of you do, so I'm showing it to you. So now I'm going to open up to 1.7 so you can see that. And the 1.7 is just as sharp. I didn't lose any sharpness in this whatsoever. I'm almost at minimum focus, I think. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. But again, it's extremely sharp. The background looks great. It's a nice lens. What else can I say?